McConnell versus Trump. A major new report released minutes ago that suggests that the Democrats are trying to throw out Mitch in the Senate and the rest of the Republicans, but are running out of money. And they're appealing to one major billionaire to help the effort to get McConnell and the Republicans out. Is it a last-ditch effort, or is the ditch to get Mitch falling apart? This is a big blockbuster of McConnell versus Trump. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm here, you're here, and the wind has settled down for at least for a few minutes. Let's see if it doesn't blow me away by the end of this recording. I really appreciate you for tuning in on a big blockbuster about Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump and the election and the Senate and your stimulus and a lot more. Boy, go to the Funnest channel, subscribe, because if not, this is going to be the video that you want to tune in for. This has always been one of the big hit videos of the daily schedule on this channel, 5 hours of programming every day. So hit the alert on the front of this channel so you get an alert when a new video goes live. You don't want to miss a minute of this channel. Also, like this video. It's really helping. The videos are appearing higher in the ranking today ahead of, UFOs. Take your stimulus. In this video, I'll be going over why Democrats are urging a major billionaire benefactor to step up and give them lots of money to throw out Mitch and his friends in the Republican Party from the Senate. And that Mitch and the Republicans may end up holding on to the Senate even if there's a Biden win. Oh my goodness. What does that mean for your stimulus if there's a Biden win and the Democrats do not take the Senate? A lot of big details. Let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that one major benefactor is being touted to give lots of money to throw Mitch and his friends out of the Senate, and he's not agreeing to spend the money. Who is this? Mike Bloomberg. Oh my goodness. Mike Bloomberg, billionaire and former presidential candidate, is being touted by no less than Chuck Schumer to give billions of dollars, if not millions of dollars, to the campaign to throw Mitch and his friends out of the Senate. And so far, Bloomberg is not agreeing. Bloomberg has committed $100 billion to help Biden win the state of Florida. But beyond that, the super PAC, aligned with the Senate Majority Mitch McConnell, is flooding GOP's members with cash. Yes, the GOP Senate candidates that are trying to get reelected and ultimately do their own thing, whether or not Trump gives you stimulus or not, are rich in cash. Rich Mitch is doing very well, but the effort to get the Senate Majority Leader out is not working. A new Democratic group linked with Chuck Schumer is running out of cash. Bloomberg, with a net worth of $55 billion, reportedly is being touted by Chuck Schumer to give money, but he is not ready to spend money on the Senate Majority PAC. Why is this? The report does not say why, but Chuck Schumer is trying at a last-ditch effort to try to get the three-term New York mayor, where Chuck Schumer represents, to give money. The question is whether he will or won't. Chuck Schumer has done this before. He has thrown money at the Senate to try to get the Senate to go Democratic, and it has lost. In 2018, October, 4 years ago, well, not 4 years ago, what type of math is that? 2 years ago, he spent $20 million and it didn't work. This time around, this PAC has spent $90 million to ensure that Republicans are reelected, outspending the Democrats who are running out of money. So what could happen, and where are these races? The new report says that the races to keep the Republicans in control of the Senate are looking good for Mitch and his buddies. Lindsey Graham, Susan Collins, Martha McSally are among the ones that are up for grabs this cycle around. The Republicans hold a 53-47 lead, so that's what, six-member lead. He would You would need Biden to hope that the Senate falls to the Democrats if Biden's elected, because ultimately a Senate that's Republican could cause Nancy Pelosi to pull her hair out. Everything she has wanted to do for stimulus may ultimately fall apart when she no longer has Steve Mnuchin to negotiate with. She has Biden on her side, but no one on the Republican side, and that ultimately she'll be forced to negotiate with Mitch. Oh yes, I left you the best part for the middle of this video at the 5-minute mark. If Donald Trump loses the presidency, then all the negotiation of Pelosi versus Mnuchin are gone. It becomes Pelosi versus McConnell. And McConnell will knock at Pelosi what she wants, even at $1.8 trillion or $1.9 trillion. Pelosi understands this is a stark reality. And the stark reality is that McConnell may, and his Republican counterparts in the Senate, may retain the Senate. And if they do retain the Senate, and I mean control of the Senate, then Pelosi's attempt to get $1.9 trillion out of McConnell is going to go poof. And that she hopes and wishes and probably regrets she didn't do a deal with Steve Mnuchin, because she ain't going to get a $1.9 trillion deal from Mitch McConnell. This week, the Schumer-aligned PAC spent $29 million on races in Michigan, Iowa, Maine, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Montana, South Carolina, and Colorado to try to get those Senate races as a win for the Democrats. The Senate leadership spent $8 million in South Carolina, Kansas, North Carolina, and Arkansas. Democratic leaders are sounding out the alarm that they're running out of money. They had a lot of success in 2020, however, but this time around there's concern that they may not keep up. Races like the Graham race, Lindsey Graham race, have cost a fortune. Ultimately, what's important to understand is McConnell versus Trump, which has been sort of the misnomer of this video on this channel, is sort of becoming McConnell versus everyone else. There's Mitch McConnell versus Chuck Schumer. There's Mitch McConnell versus Pelosi. There's Mitch McConnell versus the world. And ultimately, this is what's happening. What's happening is that if the Senate remains exactly how it is the night after election night and remains controlled by the Republicans, you're not going to see stimulus that Nancy Pelosi wishes, in any case, to ever be passed in the magnitude she wants it. She will have to wait till, after her retirement. It will never happen. And so ultimately, the concern often is focused on the presidency, but for purposes of stimulus, if the Democrats cannot get control of the Senate, you may never see stimulus of the magnitude you're looking at right now. It's important to understand that Steve Mnuchin is negotiating on behalf of the Republicans. Mitch McConnell is not negotiating on behalf of the Republicans. Nancy Pelosi specifically determined early on in the summer months of this year that she did not want to negotiate the second stimulus check or package with Mitch McConnell. She wanted to do with Steve Mnuchin. Well, that could implode or blow away like the wind right now if the president loses on election night and that ultimately is removed, and Mitch McConnell and his friends maintain control of the Senate. It's a very troubling issue for Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. Chuck Schumer has taken more angst to the situation and has really singularly called Mitch McConnell the problem of why millions of Americans haven't had stimulus. Let's recap what Mitch McConnell has not given you. Mitch McConnell has never in 3 bills, given you a stimulus check. Not one of his bills have ever had a stimulus check in it. Second, all of his bills have had FPUC, unemployment, enhanced unemployment, at $200 a week or less. All of his bills have had big bailouts to big businesses and very little money from millions of Americans. None of them have had hazard pay. None of them have had EIDL grants. None of them have had EIDL loans. What they have had is liability insurance so that if your employer coughs on you on purpose and knows that they have COVID-19, you can't sue that employer, even though they did it on purpose. Second, he's had offers of big PPP offerings for big business, where big business can apply for a PPP loan, get the money, and then pay themselves a nice hunky salary, and then write it off on the federal government. Additionally, he's asked for, I can't believe I'm even saying this, business lunch deductions. That was among his topics over the summer. Remember that? That he wanted the way to get through this pandemic is for rich people to write off expensive lunches. I'm not kidding. And of course, the famous lobster bill. So as you sit here today, the concern is that if Mitch McConnell does pull off the 11th hour surprise and keeps the control of the Senate, what will happen then? What's important to understand is that despite the number of polls I report on a given days on this channel, there's not a lot of polls about the Senate. There's not a lot of polls about what could happen to the Senate. Yesterday and the day before, I detailed one ABC poll that said there's an 80% chance that the Democrats take the Senate, but ultimately that's dependent on the races of 6 people. And if one of the races doesn't go that way, then that 80% number is totally incorrect. There's a lot of people that need to win in the Senate as Republicans to take this, as Democrats to take it from Mitch McConnell and co. As we have seen in the final days before this election, the president is not aligned with Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell is not aligned with the president because ultimately Mitch McConnell's focused on being reelected, which he will. Mitch McConnell has an 8 percentage point over his competitor, opponent, and reassuring himself that he can maintain control of the Senate. The question is whether he can. And as you sit here today, what will happen? Let me go over some incredible comments and questions from yesterday. Rick Riddle, can the president keep them there until there's an emergency is agreed on stimulus? No. So that goes back to what I talked about yesterday. The Senate's closing today. The House is already closed. The president can order the Senate reopen, but the president can't order the Senate to do anything that they don't want to do. And so ultimately, if the president wants Mitch to pass a law, he can't order Mitch to do it. Dorothy, my father fought for this country, and this is how they're paying our veterans back. Jacob, Pelosi. Dorothy, my father fought for this country, and this is how they're paying our veterans back. My father's father probably rolling over his grave. Jacob, Pelosi's rebelling against the president for getting through with Amy. Carol, I'll let it go and I'll let God. He has the power. God bless America. Claudine Moore, the whole bunch are, both sides are loony. Just Jasmine, Nancy is wicked. Jennifer, the House needs to be replaced, every one of them. Lewis, more money, late fees, just like when our taxes are a late penalty. Loanel Gonzalez, we want what is owed to us. We shouldn't be begging for it. Jordana Nunez, does America really put people first? Corby, our government just sucks. Jessica, we stand with vets as well as my daddy who was in the Army. Kimberly, I'm so tired of watching friends and families lose their businesses and homes. Richard, what happened to For the People? Heather, good evening, LALATE. Lord, help us. We're all in the last days. There's no support whatsoever. They don't care about the people at all. I love LA Purple Power. Well, thank you. Nicole, if only Americans were as important as Amy Coney Barrett, we would have had stimulus each month starting at 6 months. Joni Jacobs, Mooch is delivering going home so he can find decomposing. Nasty Nancy staying until her ice cream delivery is made before she goes. Tensia Barker, we need the stimulus ASAP. You do. If you have questions in today's video, drop in the comments below. Coming up next is Pelosi versus Mnuchin. Depending on whether the wind blows me away or I stay here, it might go into the evening schedule because the weather is just getting very precarious. Go to the Federal channel, subscribe, because no one gets you through this wind or thick or rain or sleet or snow. Please hit the alert so you get an alert when a new video goes live. Also, like this video. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay in LA for more.